What is up, New Beginnings Church? Pastor Todd here, and I have got a great opportunity for you today because I'm going to introduce you to my friend, Roy Goble. Roy was introduced to me by a couple other pastors in the area, and immediately I just enjoyed hanging out with him. Found out he was into missions projects in Belize, found out he was an author, and over our time together, you and I have got to sit and have fun conversations, and the more I get to know about you, the more fascinating you are. But just give us a quick background. You've got this brand new book that you just released, and then there's a cool opportunity that we have for you, the church, we'll tell you about later. But Roy, tell me about yourself and tell me about this book.
Yeah, well, I live here in the area. I live in Livermore and have for 40 years. Or at least in the general area, even a graduate of Foothill High. Yay, go Falcons. And I started writing because I just found there were a lot of faith-based books that needed a reality check, right? I mean, our lives as followers of Jesus is complicated. And we don't always have right answers. We don't always know exactly what we're going to do or how, the little wristbands do what Jesus would do. Come on. I mean, we don't know. That's why we're in the dilemma. So I wanted to start writing stuff that really just embraced that tension. And this is my fourth book. And I wanted to focus on Advent because we sort of, there's a sort of a saccharine feel.
Now, can you just pause real quick here?
Yeah.
Because I need to tell you this.
Yeah.
I'm from South Carolina. They don't have Advent there, apparently.
Yes, they do.
As a kid, I grew up in a church that way. I never heard Advent. I
Right.
never heard of Advent until I moved to California.
Right.
So if we've got somebody out there that doesn't know what
What's
Advent is,
Advent?
what is it? And why is it important to you?
Well, I didn't grow up with Advent either. I grew up Baptist, and it just wasn't a thing. But as I grew older and I started to really mature in my spiritual faith, I found this tradition, and a lot of different denominations celebrate it differently, but it's basically the 4 weeks prior to Christmas, where you focus on living in anticipation of Jesus being born, living in anticipation of the Messiah. And it actually, the first time I practiced it, it really hit me deeply.
I'd never heard of it explained quite that way. I kind of knew from being here that, okay, it's the days leading up to Christmas.
Yeah.
But the way you just said it makes so much sense because, well, for the Jewish people, they had been expecting a Savior and waiting and longing. They'd looked at the prophets of old and said, no, we're waiting for this coming Messiah, this coming Savior.
Yeah.
And yet we've already experienced that. But for us is to say, let's go back and remember what it's like to have an anticipation for God to move in the earth.
Exactly.
That's a great idea.
Exactly. Yeah.
Well, tell me this. I see Advent on the book. What is junkyard wisdom?
Right. Great question, a very fair question. But I grew up working in my dad's junkyard. And it was just a wonderful, magical place, frankly. It taught me a lot about life. And I often say, you've heard the line, everything I needed to know I learned in kindergarten. Well, everything I needed to learn, I think I learned in the junkyard. And I bring the junkyard word into it because our faith is messy and our faith is a little scattered. And I wanted to bring just a touch of that to the Advent story.
I love it. Well, let me tell you about Roy here for a quick second, because part of what I was attracted to in getting to know Roy is that Roy has a heart for missions. And Roy is a co-founder of a missions organization out of Belize called Pathlight that we started supporting earlier this year.
Thank you.
And so looking forward to finding out more about it, hopefully even visiting Belize. Can't wait to see more about what you're doing. But you clearly have a heart for people, for people that are lost or away from God or even in poverty.
Yep.
And so that's what Pathlight is all about, is really helping kids and sponsoring kids to come out of poverty, but to give them an education and actually launch them, not just to be Christian leaders, but world leaders and national leaders. And so that's what he's doing with Pathlight. But in addition to that, the reason why we're telling you about this book is because Roy believes in taking care of homeless people and people in need and hurting people anywhere and everywhere.
Yeah.
And he found out we were doing a project with Monthly Miracles to help some of our families in the area who've come out of homelessness. And so Roy has offered to donate this book to our church, and all of the proceeds will go to that Christmas project with Monthly Miracles. And so, Roy, we want to say thank you so much for
You're
just
very welcome.
believing in our church, believing in our people, but believing, you know what, let's take care of people.
Yeah.
This is good news. Let's make sure it goes everywhere. And so here's our big encouragement to you. you need to go buy this book. We'll have it set up in the back. You can get it online at Amazon. But the donations for Amazon won't go to our church. But anything you buy from our church, all of those proceeds go towards our Christmas missions project. And so, Roy, love you so much. Thank you for believing in us. Thank you for what you're doing, and look forward to more to come in the future.
Of course, it's really exciting to be partnering with the church, and I look forward to more.
Awesome. Church, I love you so much. God bless you.